Listen, the owner of Napoli is on a mad thing. He's on a mad thing. I promise you now. He's on a mad thing. Or is he? Is he maybe onto something? Is there something in what he is saying? Do you get what I mean? Because the reality is, football's getting a bit boring now. I won't lie to you. Football's getting boring. There's nothing really going on. It's tactics, it's set pieces, it's wrestling in the box, it's referees don't know what they're doing. People are becoming bored, when they're watching some of these games. Some people don't even want to go to games half the time because of the ticket prices are so high and the product that we're actually getting isn't really making sense. It's not making any sense. So is De Laurentiis, is he onto something? I don't know, man. I'll let you guys obviously be the judge of that, and you guys can let me know in the comment section. Big up to everybody in the damn building. So obviously, whether you've seen it, whether you haven't seen it, obviously we'll go through this. It might be a long one, it might not be. So hopefully you guys stick with me. And yeah, just something a little bit different, man. So De Laurentiis, as you can see here, I'll make this screen a bit bigger for everybody to be able to see. Now, obviously, so he done, I believe it was like an interview or something, with the Athletic, or the Athletic obviously posted it out. As you can see, look, the movie mogul, owner of Serie A team Napoli, and basically the premise of what he was basically saying was how he would like to change football. Now, realize it says here he's a 76. I'll even highlight for you guys to see that, right? Realize he's a 76-year-old man. So at first I was kind of like, that's crazy that he's sitting there and he's trying to change the game, but he's changing the game to more fit the new gen. Maybe he's ahead of the curve. And this is where, do you know what I mean? I was reading this, and I've read like little bits, little snippets and quotes and stuff like that in regards to, exactly what he was trying to say and why he was saying the things that he was saying. And obviously you guys can see the thumbnail and stuff like that. Of course, 25-minute halves, no red cards, and all of these kind of different things. So obviously we're going to go through. I'm not going to read every single thing here, because that would actually be quite boring. But yeah, this is more just for you guys to kind of just kind of see, man. And again, like I said, you kind of just let me know in the comment section what you guys think in regards to this. Are you on board? Are there ideas? In fact, you know what you guys could actually do? You can let me know in the comment section. Give me your kind of rules. Do you know what I mean? What would you change in football? Do you get what I mean? Because I think ultimately we're the ones watching it, right? We're the ones, like, it's for our consumption. So if we're the ones watching it, we should really have a say, right? I understand, of course, ultimately every sport has got their own governing body, and I get it. So the reality is obviously they're going to govern their sport how they see fit and etc. I get all of that. But fans do have a say. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we do have a say, or we should have a say, in my personal opinion. Again, I'm not saying everything that fans say has to be on board, and the governing bodies have to sit there and be like, yeah, but maybe, I don't know, you have like a fan independent kind of community or governing body themselves, but who are all fans, kind of. But then again, I guess that defeats the whole thing. I don't know. I just feel like fans should have a say, really and truly, right? So I'm like I said, it's a very long article. You guys, I'll put the link actually in the description, so you guys can obviously see it for yourselves. And then yeah, you guys can just check it out, see what he's saying, see if there's things that you agree with, see if there's things that you don't agree with, and yeah, etc., etc. So one of the things here he's obviously saying, soccer will lose the younger generation, he declares, but De Laurentiis has ideas, lots of them, and once he starts, there is no stopping him. The matches are too long. He does not like the long breaks caused by video referees. He also cannot understand why 15 minutes is required for half time. So when we're looking at this one in particular, obviously the matches being too long, um, I don't know about that. Obviously, I know he talks about the whole, you guys can see it there. I know he talks all about the whole, 25 minutes, and obviously we'll get into that. But I feel like we accept that football is this long anyway. So I don't feel that should be something that we, kind of change, so to speak. So yeah, I feel like it being 90 minutes is fine. I mean, maybe you knock off 10 minutes, but yeah, I feel like you're just splitting hairs at this, but at that moment in time, I don't think, like, I feel like the game of football, how it is, obviously, if you're talking like five, sevens and all that kind of stuff, yeah, that doesn't need to be a 90-minute game. You know, nobody wants to watch that kind of football for 90 minutes, right? But those games are always better because they're a different type of game. Ballers League, as we guys see, do you get what I'm saying? It's a different type of game than football itself. And I'm not even just talking about professional football, bro. Like when I was playing Sunday league, you know what I mean, Saturday leagues and stuff like that. Again, it's not a full, like, I'm sorry, I was playing 90 minutes. When I'm playing for the academy, for example, in the academy, I'm playing quarters. It was a bit like basketball. I'm playing quarters. I'm not playing a full match all the way through. I'm playing literally quarters. So yeah, it's a different type of game, and I just think 90 minutes for me, yeah, you kind of just keep that. I don't really feel like that needs to necessarily change, if I'm being honest. Imagine the stupidity. You think my grandchild of 6 years old who knows everything about football because he plays with the PlayStation, he will escape, and you think you will recoup him after 15 minutes? Never, because he goes in his room, he starts to play FIFA. Obviously, this is him talking about the 50-minute half time break. I mean, players need to rest at some point. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, that's something that you're gonna have to discuss with players. I don't think that's something that you can just say as a governing body, if he was a part of it, that you can just say, yeah, no, no worries, yeah, we can just, nah. That's something that you genuinely have to discuss with players. But listen, it is what it is. In the stadiums, he says children are on board. These are atmosphere and the participation. If you watch a match on TV, especially if it is a terrible match, what do they do? Um, blah blah blah. Number one. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So you got here. So for example, he says here, number one, I'll reduce from 45 minutes each half to 25 minutes. He says in his 50-minute game, the match will be tracked for in-play time rather than match officials recovering minutes through stoppages at the end of each half. But also you cannot stay down on the field and play around like an actor, blah, blah, blah. I'll reduce from 45 minutes each half to 25 minutes. That's obviously going to stir up people. In his 50-minute game, the match will be tracked for in-play time rather than match officials recovering minutes through stoppages at the end of each half. I feel like one way, obviously, the referees say they do this, but they stop time, for example. In basketball, for like this will be a way to, but I guess would it not just almost be the same? Because I was gonna say, obviously, you got like, oh, and I know it's different sport, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea, right? So in the NBA, for example, every time the ball goes out, the time stops. Obviously, they don't have extra time and stuff like that. There's no stoppage time here, and for the no, no, no. As soon as the game stops, boom. Obviously, that's a very stop-start type of game anyway. I feel like that could potentially work here because football's not as stop-start as basketball. Basketball, it can constantly go out of play. Do you get what I'm saying? Or it's constantly being stopped for a foul, traveling. Or there's too many reasons as to why the game's going to stop. So that game, which is supposed to be, I don't know, was it like 12-minute quarters? So what's that? 12 fours, 48. Yeah. So that game could potentially, you could be there for about, I mean, 2, 3 hours kind of thing. Whereas I don't feel like you'd necessarily get that with football. Do you get what I'm saying? If obviously more, I guess, on the basis if this is a 50-minute game, but I feel like even if you did a 90-minute game, I don't feel like you'd be there for so long. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think in regards to that? He says, I'll never use a red card and a yellow card. Instead, he likes the sin bin concepts. I would say you get out for 5 minutes for a yellow card and you get out for 20 minutes for a red card. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Um, it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one, but I don't mind that idea behind it in terms of like the whole. I feel like they were talking about having a sin bin kind of vibe before. Something tells me that they were talking about this quite a while ago, but maybe I might be mistaken. But that could be something. I'll be honest with you. That could be something that you implement, especially with yellow card or something situations kind of thing. I think yeah, maybe hamper teams. You want to do fouls and all that. All right, cool, no worries, you're out. And you're not out for the whole game. You're just out for like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever it might be. You're just out for a piece. Did you get what I'm saying? There has to be some level of jeopardy for something that you've done. But then would that then take away from the game a little bit? Mm, interesting one, interesting one. But even going back to the 25-minute halves and all of that. I can understand because we live in a microwave society right at this moment in time, especially with the new gen and how they consume content and how they just consume everything, you know. So I understand because he's more catering to them and ultimately they are the next generation up, right? So I almost feel like you'd almost have to have a different type of game though. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna shorten the game, there needs to be more going on within the game in order for it to be bit more interesting, if I'm being, because let's say you just kept the game exactly how it was, but then you shortened the time. I don't know if that'll be good enough. I'll be honest with you. I really don't think it would be, but you know, what do I know? Um, you must change the rules. If we don't please them, we will die. You know, the blah blah blah. Um, blah blah blah. I've seen talking about Antonio Conte. I think those are the two main ones. I'm just having a little look see here. Blah 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 blah. Him talking about all of that. I don't really care. Um, yeah, I think that was kind of like the main two, to be honest with you. Um, in regards to this whole thing. UEFA changed the group stage, Champions League 2 years ago. Part of the problem, he says, is big federations rely on a one member, one vote system, which incentivizes football's leadership to constantly grow competitions to return opportunity to the broadest electorate possible. They must make everybody play because they need the vote. So if Mr. Kerfin wants to be re-elected, he must please everybody. So San Marino has the same vote as Italy or England. For you, is that normal? I don't think so. Yeah, that's not really my lane in that kind of thing. I think he's just more talking about the money and everything but behind football. But yeah, just more focusing on, I guess we'll focus more on the sheer fact that he's trying to shorten games, which again, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's problematic. But like I said, you're going to have to do it in a way that is going to then allow for a better product. So if you do shorten the game, there's going to need to be, would I say, different kind of rules, you know, so to speak, within the game now, in order for you to, you know, allow yourself to actually shorten it. You guys let me know in the comment sections, would you shorten games, or is that something that you're just not really messing with in a general sense? The sin bin thing, I definitely think that is something that I think could be implemented. I'm sure it's in rugby. Yeah, rugby. I don't watch rugby, but I'm sure it's in rugby. So again, it obviously it works in that sport. So to say that it can just translate is not necessarily true, but I do think it's something that we could maybe possibly, you know, kind of work on. I'm just trying to think of any other kind of sport where we can take some of the rulings. I think for me, it's more, and I think for most people, it's actually more to do with like referees and how they kind of govern the game, and VAR and how it's supposed to officiate. And I say that's supposed to be the other way around, but yeah, ultimately right now it seems like VAR are the referees, and the referees are more just governing what VAR actually is, when it should be, I feel, the other way around, right? So yeah, there needs to be kind of a ruling. I know people get on, our referees are not good enough, and then I don't feel like it's actually that, you know. I actually just genuinely believe it's a case of the rules are so ambiguous in what they are, especially like the wording and stuff like that, that it leaves too much to interpretation. And the problem I always say when you leave things up to interpretation is that everybody's interpretation of something is different. So if one person would give a foul for this, that's him. But the other guy might not give that same foul. Can you be mad at that? No, you can't. You don't have, not, I was gonna say you don't have the right. You have a right to be angry, but it doesn't make sense to me why you'd be angry if something is left up to interpretation and it is not a factual thing of, yes, it must be this, then you're going to leave it up to that. I've always stated I like rules that are, I know it's harsh and it can be annoying, but I'm of the belief of, it's just one of those things, like you've just got to, obviously it will take time to be implemented in terms of the culture of the game, and people will obviously try and, you know, expose the loopholes and things like that, of course, and that's just how sport is in general. But I always look at it and I just think to myself, again, I'm going to go back to basketball. I like the fact that their rules in certain cases are very strict. The ball hits your leg, that's it. There's no accidental. The ball hit your leg. It's not supposed to hit your leg, that's it. For me, in football, same thing. Ball hits your hand, that's it. There's no question. It's not accident. No, it hit your hand, that's it. We're not doing, oh yeah, but he did this and he did that. And I get it, because some people say, obviously there'll be loopholes behind it. What if this happens? And You know, what if that happens? Or, you know, players will just start kicking the ball at people's hands. And I was like, I feel like when people say that to me, I'm like, no, like don't look at it from that kind of angle. Don't like you looking at it from such a cynical angle. Then how do other sports like how do other sports implement these certain rules? Then do you get what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't work in other sports because I would just keep hitting the ball at basketball. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, I'm hitting someone's foot, sorry, in basketball, knowing that I'm gonna get the ball back anyway. My team's under pressure. Let me just dash the ball at his leg, get us a little bit of a breather on the sideline, and then we can kind of go right. Um, double jeopardy rule kind of thing. You know, again, this I just feel like it's the rules that are the problem. I don't feel like it's the referees. I know they get a hard time. And listen, I'm not saying referees are great, but I don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be. And I feel like once the rules change a little bit, or they change to be a lot more stricter and more factual, I feel like you'll then start to see the inconsistencies will go. Then you're then talking about the rule itself. Did you get what I'm saying? Or about what it actually is, you know, as opposed to, oh, this referee doesn't know what he's doing. Every time we get this referee, he does this and he does that. No, no. Then we can remove all that ambiguity. All this ambiguity, bruv, it's just, for me, it's just annoying at this stage. And I feel like that's why people get very frustrated with referees and you know things like that. But that's kind of my kind of thing in terms of like changing things about football. I like I said, I do understand. I'm sure PK's got something where his games are short, or he was doing something. Was it like the Kings League or something like that? Where yeah, things were a bit shorter in terms of the matches, and he was putting it out to streamers, and then streamers would then stream the game, and the amount of money that was coming. Like, yo, that could be a very, very good idea. I do think maybe football is heading into a certain direction. As I said, we've got the Ballers League coming in. The young G's right now, they're more concerned with seeing things quickly. Everything is shorts, short, 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 shorts. You get what I'm saying? Like, boy, if you're not doing shorts right now, I'm telling you, you're missing out on the market. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's one of those kind of things. This kind of content, long form, that's for us oldies. Do you know what I'm saying? That's for us old guys. Like, we don't mind sitting down watching something, blah blah blah. These guys don't want to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think that's where things kind of come into it, where we've just got to understand that we're entering into a new generation of seeing things from a different kind of angle. We can't always look at it from our prehistoric times. You know what I mean? We've got to kind of change and go with the times. And I feel like once you do that, you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. But look, like I said, man, let me know your thoughts in the comment section in regards to what De Laurentiis is obviously what he would like to implement. Would you implement some of his ruling? Do you think he's just being a bit over the top? But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you guys.